welcome back to TGTV, and more specifically, welcome back to a top secret location, an airfield just outside London. The sun is shining for once. I don't think I've seen the sun for probably a couple of months now. And today is extremely exciting. I have some news, and there is an unbelievable car right in front of me, and you probably already guessed what it is because it's probably in the title and the thumbnail. Ferrari F40, one of my all-time favourite cars, and I'm delighted to say that I have, how should I put this? I own a piece of it. So anyway, let's go and check out the car, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what on earth is going on. Let's go. Here you can see right behind me we have the car in question. It is a Ferrari F40, of course. It is a very special Ferrari F40. There are a number of reasons why this car is unbelievable, and there are a number of reasons this car is here. So let me explain to you, because there's a lot to get through and I'm excited. I'm going to whiz through it, take you around the car and explain exactly what's going on. Do bear with me because this is very, very special. Okay, so obviously, as I touched on, Ferrari F40, this particular car is a 1991 car. So regrettably, it is actually younger than I am. And you're all dating me now, aren't you? You're all aging me in the comments. I am old, yep. So it's a 1991 car, obviously in red. They all came in red. And interestingly, with Ferrari F40s, a lot of them have had resprays, but this particular example is extremely special because it hasn't had any resprays whatsoever. And you can actually tell that. I don't know whether you'll be able to pick it up on the camera, but the paint on F40s is extremely thin, and it will sink into the carbon weave, and you can see that all around the bodywork, and it's unique to F40s, which is a really, really cool thing, and you don't see it that often. Now, this particular example has only got 4,500 miles on it from new, which is unbelievable for a car of this age, and it tells from the interior it's absolutely mint, and I'm sure you've probably got pictures of the interior on the screen right now, which leads me around to the back of the car. And this number plate here, you may have already read this may have already popped up on the screen. So I'm here today with Supercar Investment Club. They are offering, well, they've offered myself and all of you guys and girls an opportunity to invest in this actual car. I'll explain how it all works, but the premise is you can invest in this actual car and own a piece of automotive history, which I've jumped on. I will be owning a piece of it. You can too. I will go into the details and exactly how it all works in a second. And no, you don't need millions of pounds, because this car actually is 1.2 million, so you don't need 1.2 million pounds. You can actually do it with a very reasonable sum of money. But again, I'll go into all of that, but I'm buzzing. Very important to make sure that stays up, because otherwise I'll be decapitated by an F40 on YouTube, which would be good clickbait, but pretty expensive. This particular car is extremely special because it has been to Ferrari and has been signed off by their Classiche department program, which means Ferrari have said, yep, everything's correct. And not only that, everything in here is original. So they will still sign it off, I believe, if parts have been replaced, but replaced correctly. But they've actually signed off to say everything in here is still original, which for a car of this age is absolutely incredible. We've got a 2B exhaust system here, so there's only competition on it. So as you've already heard, it sounds bonkers, and we'll get some more sounds a bit later. But this, I don't know about you, this was on my bedroom wall when I was a kid, many moons ago. I was actually about 18 at the age of when this car came out. I wasn't really. I was a very small boy. Ollie, do you remember this car when it came out? Is this car older than you?
Yeah.
You're young, lad. You are young. How much?
4 or 5 years older than you.
Really?
Mm.
Oh, hell.
Yeah, I'm young. I'm a baby, really.
You're old enough to be my son.
I hope not. I really
I
do.
hope for everyone's sake we are not related. Anyway, we're getting off topic here, we're getting off topic. But anyway, it's not every day you get to see inside a Ferrari F40, especially one that's in this kind of condition. I love it. I'm a bit of a nerd, so yeah. Anyway, how have I got involved? How do you get involved? How can you own a piece of this? And now, when I say a piece of it, I don't mean you can buy that or you can buy that. I don't mean that at all. You can own a share in the car. Should I sit in the car? We can go through this?
Let us.
Let us go. Okay, we'll leave that up anyway because I'm quite likely to break something. Before I get in the car, I've been distracted. I've opened the nose on this car just before climbing in. Removed my jacket to get in the car for fear of scratching anything. And I want to show you some cool details. We've got the lovely, lovely carbon vibe, carbon tub. But inside here, this gives you an idea of exactly the kind of the condition and the kind of example that this car is. This has got the original tyre inflating puncture kit with an F40 on it. This is probably the first and the last time I'm ever going to touch one of these. I've never seen one before. I didn't even know you got one with the car. But there we go. They don't do this on modern cars, I don't think. No. They don't care anymore.
Tony could do that.
Yeah, Tony could do with that. Tony, mate, if you're watching, if you want an F40 one for your tractor, then let me know. Okay, that's going back in there. But it's also got the original kind of pouches that have got all the kind of the documents and the care cards and all that kind of stuff. And more importantly than that, it's got the full luggage kit with it. So I know on modern cars that's about 15-20k for the luggage kit, and this one's got the original one that came with the car. It's not here, there's quite a lot of it, but it will be with the car, which is very, very rare indeed. Anyway, should we go in the car?
Yep.
And you're wearing a t-shirt on you, mate. Why are you doing that?
Yep. This is a nice sunny day.
It's about 6 degrees.
Yep.
You're not well.
Yep.
Right, let's go around. Hello, hello. Right, I'm going to get in this car, but before I do so, you're probably going to laugh at me how I get into the car. There's a very good reason for this. On the floor here, there's exposed carbon. This car's so mint, I don't want to put my feet onto the exposed carbon. There is a rubber, sorry, I do apologise, there's a plane taking off in my ear over there. There's rubber at the front of the car there, you can put your feet on, that's absolutely fine. But this exposed carbon bit here, I do not want to put my feet on. So this is not going to be particularly dignified. I'm not very flexible. I'm a bit gangly, so this could, yep, onto the rubber, onto the rubber, onto the rubber.
Nice buttocks there, mate.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, okay, we're in, we're in, we're in.
It suits you, mate.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know what this thing, actually no, I do know what this thing does now, because I drive a manual 911 now, don't I? Wow, this is amazing. Absolutely incredible. It's like stepping back in time. It's brand new in here. All this kind of like quilted, perforated leather. I mean, you just don't get that on cars these days. It's so cool. So cool. I've never sat in an F40. I've never seen one even moving about. I've only ever seen them sat in showrooms. This is a surreal experience. Anyway, I will stop fanboying. How to get in the pot and own a share of this car. Okay, right. By the time this video goes out, Supercar Investment Club, hit their website and you'll be able to go on there and purchase a share in this car. And whilst I say a share in the car, there's lots of boring legal bits and exactly how this all works, but you'll be purchasing a share in the company that owns this car. It's called an SPV. There's loads more details on site, and if you're in the finance industry, like myself, you'll know what that means. However, it's the kind of legal arrangement that means that ownership of this car is possible. So anyway, it's all very boring stuff, but it's a very important point. However, £500 will get you one share in this car. It's a 3-year investment term, and I would like to be clear at this point, this car is an investment. Your share will not allow you just to say, oi, Supercar Investment Club, can I come drive the F40? This car will not be driven. Your share price will also, very importantly, include insurance, maintenance and storage of the car as well. So that's all included. But again, I'd like to touch on the fact you cannot just come and drive this thing. This is a pure investment. So instead of investing gold, oil, wine, whatever people invest in, you can invest in a piece of automotive history, which I think is extremely cool. And as I said before, I have one share in this car. I would have more, but I am bankrupt, to be fair with you. I've got some news on that as well, exactly why I'm bankrupt, because I put a deposit down on something very recently. In fact, by the time this video goes out, a couple of weeks back, but you know what it is, don't you?
Yeah.
That's why you're laughing.
I'm very concerned.
Died. Anyway, but I can now tell people I own a share in a 40, so out of my way, basically. Anyway, hit the Supercar Investment Club website, All details will be below in the video anyway. Everything that you need to click through, there's an FAQs video, there's absolutely everything you need to know. I could go on and on about it, but I bore you all more than I usually do. Why I've been banging on about the conditions so much is because there are a fair few F40s about. Not millions of them, obviously. There are a few F40s about on the market, and the condition the car is in makes a huge amount of difference. There are almost two categories of cars. There are collector cars like this one, which is absolutely kind of time warp condition, and there are ones that have been driven and are driven regularly. And there is a huge gulf between the two of those. And in time, the values of those cars, the gulf is going to widen, as it does with a lot of cars that are kind of low mileage, blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying. And this is definitely in the latter category of the kind of not driven collector's items. So I'm just being distracted by the fact I'm sat in an F40 on an airfield. Just bonkers. Going back to the point about not driving the car, that does not to say that you will never see this car. This car will be available to come and see, prod, sit in, all of that jazz at investor events. So you can come along, take people with you, and gloat to them basically that that F40 is partly yours. So that is quite a cool thing. And obviously you get to meet like-minded people. And Supercar Investment Club, this will be the first of many investments. So there won't just be an F40. In time there'll be other investment opportunities as well. As I touched on earlier, there are a lot of boring details about this that I won't necessarily go into now. I've looked into it, I've read into it, I know what's going on with it all. I'm more than happy, I'm invested, I'm in the pot. As I said before, it's a 3-year investment term. There's numerous situations, but effectively every time there's an offer on the car, the investors vote on it. So it's kind of, there's a voting system in place. Every investor has a say in what happens with the car, whether it's sold, whatever, okay? So I'm totally comfortable with it, and it all makes perfect sense. But in terms of me just sat in the car and talking every single minute detail, that's not gonna work. Anyway, I'm gonna try and get out of this car now.
How's that going, mate?
Yeah, really well. I have a really bad spine, and my buttocks are coming out. Pretty uneventful actually. I didn't destroy anything. Anyway, this is probably one of the most tasteful things I've ever put my money into, because as you well know, I have a habit of putting my money into distasteful stuff, such as my Aventador. And that, I have some news on that which is probably going to boggle some minds. Please do stay tuned for what I'm going to announce on that, because I say chaos a lot, but I don't even know the meaning of the word so far compared to what's going to happen once I announce that. Anyway, back to the F40. But anyway, as I said, all the information will be below. It's all in the links. Do go check it out. The car is now live. It would have been live for 3 or 4 days. There was a 30-day window in which you can buy your share in the car and reach the funding goal for the car. And it is this exact vehicle as well. This isn't just some sort of pie in the sky idea. This is the actual car. You will see this car at events. It's just cool. It's just cool. Final thing to mention, there is a disclaimer that I need to say at this point, because as with any investing, your capital is at risk, and obviously returns aren't guaranteed. I mean, that's the nature of investing. Over the past 5 years, the average value of cars in this kind of ilk have risen 131%. Research done by these guys, Supercar Investment Club. So that's pretty healthy returns. I mean, I don't know anything you could have invested in over the past 5 years that would have done as well as that. And loads of people are going to be shouting Bitcoin or something ridiculous in the comments, but honestly, the supercar market and the kind of the real top end stuff like this, the market has gone absolutely bonkers. And in the age of everything going into hybrid technology and all that kind of stuff, I was going to say relics, but kind of relics like this of kind of a bygone era, they're just going to go through the roof. That's why I'm more than happy to have my cash in the pot. But yeah, as I say, so much more information available on site, and it's probably about 25 odd days left to get your share in this car. So do get in the pot, let me know if you're involved, and yeah, maybe see you at an event at some point with the F40. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe, blah blah blah, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!